Well, what do we have here? I was so wrong. I was so wrong. I was so fucking wrong about Benoit Saint Denis. And I can't even be mad. I can't even be mad because Mauricio Ruffy was just such a pick. He was such a fucking pick. His on form, his flashy style. Plus, I just didn't want to bet on Benoit Saint Denis given my history of exposing this man. Okay, now Lucas Tracy's giving it the big, and oh yeah, and I call it, yeah, fucking cool, mate. Like you finally got one prediction right, yeah, and you made 7 videos about how Benoit Saint Denis was going to beat Poirier. I only needed one. I only needed one. And real G's know the title. Go back and watch it. The title. Dustin Poirier is going to knock out Benoit Saint Denis. That's all I need to say there. But fuck, man, Mauricio Ruffy really bottled it last night, in my opinion. The takedowns that he was shooting were so harmless, in my opinion. Like he'd walk him up against the cage and planning. There wouldn't be any, kind of he'd slip and then jab and then get like a nice double or single in the middle of the cage. Every single time he was just backing Mauricio Ruffy up against the cage and then just shooting a shitty single leg. I thought it was quite poor from both. I just feel like if Mauricio Ruffy had any kind of like ounce of what I thought he would have just absolutely went in there and chinned him. But he didn't. Just looked, didn't get started on the feet, didn't throw any of the usual spinning stuff that we see. Saint Denis looked good on the ground. I said in my preview, he should grapple because he's not going. Which, in fairness, he did very well on the ground. He had moments on the feet, of course. Mauricio Ruffy just did not look like he got going at all in the stand up in this fight. And fuck, man, another fucking fighting nerd just derailed. The hype just completely derailed on this one. This one particularly upset me because fuck me, I had so much hope for Mauricio Ruffy, if I'm being honest with you. I thought this dude could be the absolute messiah. I just thought this dude could be so much, and like his striking was so loose and adequate, and just I just felt like Ruffy just really didn't get going with the stand up like at all. Like at all. Like I really felt like he was just kind of like, I wouldn't say he was nerfed in there, but Saint Denis really put on a grappling heavy approach, which he should have. Obviously, he won the fucking fight. But I would have loved to see in a few good striking exchanges and a Rufy really be able to land, some of his good combinations that we've seen in the past, the spinning shit and stuff like that. But, all credit to Saint Denis who just didn't let him get there. He didn't let him get started. He didn't let him get the spinning shit going. Implemented a great grappling game plan. And that was all she wrote. The fraud check is now the fraud checker. I'm never going to let down the Saint Denis versus Poirier thing because I got it so fucking right. Saint Denis, one of the biggest frauds in history. I saw a fucking comment just how good is Renato Moicano. It's not even like Benoit Saint Denis isn't beating anybody good. Like, let's get that through our fucking skulls here. I picked him to beat Moicano now, in fairness, so I can't even say much there, but you go back and look at the takedowns he was landing up against the cage and tell me that isn't the most basic thing where someone would have landed a knee or would have landed an uppercut or easily would have stopped. Mauricio Ruffy just, when you think about it now, I don't even want to say it. When you realize he just spinning kicked Bobby Green, that's it. Fuck. Fuck, man. But I thought that was enough. I thought I'd seen enough in his few fights that he was going to, piece up the fraud that is Saint Denis. Um, all in all, this was such a good card. I was going to break down the full card, but then I kind of realized no one cares apart from the first two fights. Obviously, I talked about the main event, but the fans were fucking hyped for this. The fans were fucking hyped for this. I was buzzing. I actually couldn't wait for this fight, to be honest with you. I was so charged for this fight. I thought we'd get some absolutely fucking sick striking exchanges. But, Saint Denis had other plans, and his plans worked a lot better than Mauricio Ruffy's game plan. Now, I saw like Carlos Prates and all crying. For some fucking reason, Ian Gary was upset. Like, how do I describe it? If there was ever a person to try and make everything about himself, it's just Ian Gary. Ian Gary is actually like one of the most self-centered people you will ever see on the planet. Like he's still parading around off a loss to Shavkat. And, he was there with Carlos Prates. Fucking Carlos Prates nearly chinned him in the last round. The fighting nerds are not going well. I picked Diego Lopez to knock out Gene Silva, and I'm still picking Diego Lopez to knock out Gene Silva. And this is going to be a hat trick for the fighting nerds, and I love the fighting nerds. I was devastated Mauricio Ruffy lost. If I'm being honest with you, like I really wanted his hype to progress and him to be in those fucking sick striking matchups with like a fucking Gaethje or a Paddy Pimblett would have been sick. Maybe even a Moicano. But what's next for Benoit Saint Denis? I'd say give him Michael Chandler. I'd say give him Michael Chandler. Like, why not? I think Chandler's kind of a. You know what Chandler is? Chandler's like a Labrador. He just wants you to pet him on the head and tell him he's a good little boy and give him an out treat now and again. That's all Michael Chandler is. So give him Benoit Saint Denis. He's not going to be fighting McGregor, even though the White House card is confirmed. I wouldn't be surprised if he waits another year. Chandler fought back in November, was it last year? Yeah, it was on the Jones versus Stipe card. It's September now. It's nearly a year since we haven't seen Chandler, so I think him versus Saint Denis makes sense. I think it's a fan-friendly fight. I'll talk about that on Matchmaker Monday tomorrow, but for Mauricio Ruffy, maybe like a Drew Dober. Drew Dober could be a fun fight. Very fun fight. Makes sense as well. Drew Dober's been just the goat of fucking the prelims and unranked fights. He just never ever breaks into like a top 10, like, or even a top 15. I don't know what it is about Drew Dober, like the absolute chad that he is, just never breaks into a top 15. Am I the only one that noticed that? Like Drew Dober just never breaks into a top 10. And like I wouldn't even like he's very limited with his skill. That's the thing. He's very limited with his skill. So I wouldn't say Drew Dober is exactly, I would pick Mauricio Ruffy to beat Drew Dober, so that could be a fight just to get him back in the mix. But I feel like all the hype is gone. If he can't beat Benoit Saint Denis after Renato Moicano 10-7'd him in the first round, definitely a 10-8 at least, you're just got no hope in the division. Saint Denis is the stairs like a number 13, and is he ever going to win anything? No. I think people like Arman Tsarukyan would fucking butcher him. Purely had a close fight with Dustin Poirier. He got finished in that fight. You know what I mean? I hate people that's like, he had moments against Poirier, but he got knocked out bad. Okay, and Moicano loss was one of the worst beatdowns I've ever seen. So Saint Denis just is not him. Saint Denis is not him. Mauricio Ruffy is just not him. This was just a fraud versus fraud matchup. And I never really saw the hype with Saint Denis, but I did with Mauricio Ruffy. So that's why I'm a little bit more kind of like, why did you have to do him just because you couldn't do it? Why did you have to take away Mauricio Ruffy's hype just because it was on this card as well? There, that fucking card. Oh, just even looking at it, I called it so perfect. I called it so perfect. Um, ah, that's the best video I've ever made. That. But let me know what you think about the whole thing down below. Should Benoit Saint Denis, take a dive into the rankings like a Dan Hooker? But he's meant to be fighting Arman Tsarukyan, I saw. So Song Yadong versus Sean O'Malley, I made a match about that. So let me know how you'd match make everything down below, and